Welcome back to another MHS restoration project, and today I have a pair of Varsity Red Jordan 6 to work on. To start off with, the worst issue on this pair of Varsity Red 6s is the suede. Unfortunately, some of it is just not in great condition and some small areas have stiffened up, such as the bubbles around the ankle collar. Despite the uppers being in pretty rough condition, the outsoles are still in good condition, but they do have some wear and tear and light oxidation. Next up is the broken pull tabs, or I should say one until I snap the other. Thankfully, I already have some pull tabs from a previous donor shoe to use as replacements. And the obvious last issue with the shoes is that they do not have any midsoles. But thankfully, I got a set of replacement soles alongside the shoes. Now, while the outsoles that came with these donor soles don't look terribly good and quite old, surprisingly the midsole is still in one big piece and has no signs of crumbling or cracking. And the uppers fit surprisingly well inside the donor soles. Now, with all the issues put onto the table, I'll start by trying to fix the damaged suede by cleaning them. For the first few sessions, I used a medium bristle brush for the initial clean, and then moved on to a hard bristle brush to get a second deep clean. After the fourth or fifth cleaning session, I replaced the hard bristle brush by using a nylon wire brush. Since the wires are stiffer, they should hopefully break up whatever grease or contamination that is in the suede. Now, in between the first few cleaning sessions, I moved on to removing the outsoles off the donor midsoles. And thankfully, I didn't need to use any heat to remove the soles since they came off with just a little bit of acetone. After removing the outsole, I then used a Dremel with a sanding bit to mill away at the midsole to make room for the upper to fit as close to the original glue lines as possible. Next up, I'll work on preparing the midsole for paint by using sandpaper, acetone, and cotton balls to scuff and remove the original paint from the midsole. Next up on the agenda is to paint the majority of the sole with a black paint. And for the small areas that are red, I'll use a custom red paint mix to match the original Varsity Red color. For the Varsity Red paint mix, I ended up slightly altering the Chicago Red paint that I already had by adding a small amount of black paint to it. And lastly, I painted the red stripe on the new pull tabs after I masked off the rest of the pull tabs. The next step of the restoration is to re-dye the upper, since a majority of the upper is faded. For the dye, I ended up using some of the Angelus Jet Black dye, since I believed it was the closest thing to the original color. After it was all said and done, I ended up doing 3 coats of the dye on the upper to get the original color back, and I made sure to leave ample room in between coats to dry. After the dye dried, I then moved on to fixing a small separation between 2 panels, which I noticed when cleaning the shoes. Since the separation is small and the original stitch holes are still visible, I'll do my best to reuse them as my guide when stitching. Now, due to some mistakes on my part, some of the suede ended up tearing off the toe box on the right shoe, and one of the creases bubbled up when the dye was drying. So, to fix both issues, I'll use some suede and nubuck powder to fix the damaged areas on the toe box. And last but not least is to re-glue the shoes. But before that, I had the outsoles in the light box since the start of the restoration. While I'm not 100% sure, from what I can remember, I ended up having the soles in the light box for about 10 to 12 days and ended up doing about 11-hour sessions each day. And last but not least for these shoes is to re-glue them. For this, I ended up just putting one layer of glue on the outsole and midsole, but put a second layer around the edges of both. And the last true thing that I actually did on the shoes before re-gluing them was re-gluing the tabs onto the uppers of the shoes.
We must pay homage to